Hey everybody, Alan Simmons here, President of the New Zealand Outdoors Party and the founder of it many years ago. And I see everybody is making State of the Nation speeches. I thought I might do one. My one will be a wee bit different, I'm afraid, because I woke up a couple of days ago really pissed off because New Zealand is not the country that I grew up in, and I want to pass on to my grandchild. So I did a speech the other day on Facebook Live, but the audio sound was pretty poor. So I thought I'll try and do it again and just give you the benefit of some of my thoughts, and I'll do it via video. I just want to say that with the outdoors party, we haven't forgotten about the outdoors. It's just that we've added the freedom part to it, because without freedom to go anywhere or do anything, we haven't got any fishing and hunting either, or the ability to walk in our national parks or our parks, or even just walk on the beach. So we haven't forgotten about fishing. We haven't forgotten about farming. We haven't forgotten about hunting. And we are really pissed off about forestry. I'll just cover, first of all, a wee bit about the recreational fishing. There's just so much going on in that sphere. And of course, with the huge floods in Hawke's Bay now, some of the rivers have been dreadfully damaged. And not just damaged by the flood, but damaged by the forestry slash that's come down. There are water conservation orders being undone, such as on the Rakaia. These were supposed to be set in stone, and now it seems that big hydro companies can go in and change them, so there's a lot of issues there. And of course, we have a lot of issues with pollution of the rivers or extraction of the water from the rivers. And of course, that leads me on to the pine forest. I hate pine trees. I absolutely loathe them. And they are causing our country severe problems. They suck the water out of the hills, out of the country they're planted in. They leave a hell of a toxic mess when they're milled. But of course now they're not going to be milled. They're being bought up by these overseas companies, or the land is being bought up by these overseas companies to plant them in forests so that they can claim the carbon credits. So all the carbon credits are created in New Zealand and then taken overseas, so that these large corporations, who are polluters in their own right, can continue to pollute. So we in New Zealand allow them to continue to pollute by allowing all these people to come in, buy our prime farmland on the flats now and plant it in pine forests. Going to create no work for anybody once they're planted. Rural communities will absolutely disappear completely. And the whole structure of the backcountry of New Zealand changes. You can't go on the land. They have no trespass signs everywhere. Those areas where we fished and hunted, all gone. Access all gone and locked up by overseas companies to claim carbon credits so they can continue polluting the world. Well, okay. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure it doesn't make sense to you. Farming is a hell of a mess in New Zealand. We have so many good farmers, so proud of their land, so want to look after it, and so bogged down with paperwork. I suspect some of them spend more time in their office doing paperwork than they do out on the farm. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, farming is a big issue, and there's lots of groups around who are advocating for the health of farming and the continuation of farming. But we need it. We need the food. Getting on the subject of food. Wow, come on. Have you seen the prices? Well, of course you have. You've all been down to the supermarket. Pumpkins, $12. And they grow in there tens of thousands in a paddock. Tomatoes, $15. Oh, come on. Everything is just through the roof. Ridiculous. I just don't understand how the ordinary New Zealander lives. But then, these big corporations are making record profits. They're loving it. The banks are making record profits. The oil companies are making record profits. And all of us are sitting around going, huh? How do we pay for all of this? And we struggle on, don't we? But it's ridiculous, the prices of everything. And I just saw yesterday, I think it was, that a leg of lamb in London is cheaper than it is here in New Zealand. That's always been the case, though. I remember New Zealand wine on the shelves in London cheaper than I could buy it in the supermarket here. Somebody is ripping somebody off. And it's always been the way in this country. It's about what will the public pay, not what it's worth or what it should be worth, but what will they pay. And we have that with fuel. I paid $1.82 for diesel in Aotearoa. And then I get to Auckland and it's $2.50. How do they arrive at that huge discrepancy? And then I see mortgages have gone from 3.5% to 8%. I don't understand how anybody's going to afford to keep their houses. I really don't. I mean, I don't have the answers, but I tell you what, I don't understand why this is all happening. I really don't. And then we have this massive spending spree by the government. It seems that everybody's getting money except me. I get the pension. You can live on the pension. Hardly. Well, anyway, I see they're going to build a new bridge in Auckland with a bike lane, of course, and another $1 billion. Another $1 billion. And I can't get across the Cook Strait to go to the South Island in our vehicle because the ferries are all fully booked or broken down or fully booked. It's all wrong that we spend $1 billion in Auckland on a bridge and we can't get between the North and the South Island. Well, maybe they could spend $1 billion on a tunnel under the Cook Strait. That might be a bit more useful because the way it is at the moment, we're just going to be spending more money on these unreliable ferries. Of course, they're all subject to the weather anyway. So maybe a decent tunnel might be a good option, but not many people in the South Island, so let's not worry about it. I mean, this is the stupid nature of this government. It is just continuously spending money and giving money to all sorts of weird and out-of-the-way groups. And it doesn't fund the real stuff like hospice and all of these things that really do need funding. But anyway, that's one of my little annoyances, I guess, at the moment. And then we have things like the state of the parties. At the moment, our party, the New Zealand Outdoors Party, has been all over New Zealand doing meetings. We have been at almost every protest. We have done almost every bill that slightly involves us. We have done submissions on. In fact, we did submissions just the other day on the natural therapeutics bill, which is just ridiculous what that's going to do to New Zealand, and yet people are not waking up to that. We did a submission the other day on this urgent weather event bill. I can't remember what its name is, but basically, if there's a big weather event like the Hawke's Bay again, they can just change all the laws around it. They can take your land. There's no laws at all. They're going to set up a minister who can just take over and do anything he likes. And all the laws and rules go out the window. How draconian is that? Absolutely ridiculous. So we in the Outdoors Party have been trying so hard to get all the small parties to try and come together so that we've at least got a chance of getting somebody in the Parliament who can actually stand up to these draconian governments. I call them franchise governments because Labor and National do it all the time. They're almost like a franchise. There's no difference between the two. Don't get me wrong. I think they're both exactly the same. And we're just going to have a lot of draconian bullshit from National as we've had from Labor. Don't even get me started on COVID. I mean, everything, we were conspiracy theorists. Everything we said, everything we told them has now come true. But we're still conspiracy theorists and anti-vaxxers. I've had more vaccines than you can poke a stick at. We have all these political parties starting up to just disrupt the outdoors vote. I mean, the freedom vote, really. It's almost like National or Labor give people like Matt King, for example, a bag full of hand grenades and say, here, go and throw them in the crowd. That'll give them a wake up, because all they're going to do is continuously frustrate the vote and cause a situation where nobody gets anywhere. And Labor and National can continue doing what they are doing. We have a whole lot of new parties coming along. And I won't mention them here. You'll see them arrive and start being advertised very shortly. So the outdoors vote is just and the freedom vote is just going to be totally devastated again this election, unless we all just to make a decision to get somebody like our co-leader Sue Gray in and say, right, we're going to really put some weight behind the party vote, behind the Outdoors Party, Outdoors and Freedom Party, so that we can try and get some traction. Because I tell you what, we're not going to stand for any of this stuff. If we do get some sort of situation of power in Parliament, then you can be sure we will do something about it. But along comes Winston again. Oh, Winston, we've just he can see where the vote is now. And he's back on the trail again. Okay, Winston, you went to Parliament, did you, during the protest? Oh, yes, you went for a photo shoot day. Never saw you linking arms and fighting the police and holding the police back or anything like that. Didn't see you getting money for everybody so they could all be fed like we did. No, but you went down for a photo shoot. Now you can say, I went to Parliament, I was there. David Seymour was too. He went to the backbenchers and sat in there and had a meeting. And the last I saw of him, he was being chased up Molesworth Street, chased by a horde of people from the protest who were asking him very, very serious questions, but he didn't want to answer them, and he was off like a robber's dog. And then we had Matt King turn up for a couple of days. I never saw him on the front line. I never saw him holding hands with everybody trying to keep the police back. I never saw him organising the food for the people, or the stage, helping on the stage, or at any of the meetings. Never saw him at all. But go and read his webpage. He was a hero of the protest. What a lot of rubbish. But no, they all come along at this time of the year and start to try and chip in. He's gone out there and he's grabbed some of the candidates that we were working with, Kirsten Murphy. He's grabbed Matt Shelton. He's going around the country promising them that he will win Northland and so on. I don't understand. I heard, and I'm told, that he is triple vaxxed. If he's triple vaxxed, what are these people doing joining with him? Why are you voting for him if he's somebody that's triple vaxxed? Because we know that he promoted the vaccine in the first place. We hear that from everybody. So why would people from the freedom movement want to join with Matt King? Really? I just give up. I really do. If that's what people want to do, even though he and others were totally against the freedom movement to start with. They're not now, of course. There's a vote or two in it. Look, honestly, recreational fishing is a big hobby horse of mine. I just can't go on and on about it, but it's a dreadful state of affairs at the moment. The big companies are in on all of the committees with the fishery department, negotiating and advocating for more and more trawling rights. So even in the Hauraki Gulf, where they're trying to create a whole new environment, they're going to have areas where they can trawl their nets through. Yes, right through the middle, or right beside marine reserves or whatever, or popular recreation places. Let's trawl through them. Those nets are absolutely disgusting in what they do to the bottom. You can't go and harvest a scallop anywhere now because the scallop fishery has been absolutely raped and pillaged. Do you think that dragging a big steel bar full of spikes across the bottom of a sandy bay is not harmful? And by the time it's finished and caught all the scallops, the whole bottom of that bay is ploughed, just like somebody ploughed a paddock. And nothing comes back. The fish leave, there's no food. The whole area is. And I can think of areas in the Marlborough Sounds that I knew very well that were full of fish of all sorts that have nothing in them now except pelagic swimming in and out of them because the bottom fauna has been destroyed. Same in the Coromandel, same in Auckland, same everywhere. And yet, they still think it's all right to scoop up our fish and send it to China. Oh, okay, I suppose the Chinese have to eat too. But it's a dreadful state of affairs when we can't buy a crayfish, we can't buy a paua, and we can't buy a scallop, and we can't buy any kawai because, hello, the people's fish, you can't even catch them. Well, sorry, you can catch the odd one. But the people's fish has pretty much been scooped up and exported overseas by the big companies who are doing it for the exports to make New Zealand great again. all of this money coming into the country going to make New Zealand great again. Rubbish. It goes into their pockets. And anyway, I'm pissed off with the way they've treated the fishery, and I'm pissed off the way they've treated our mountains with or our bushland and farmland with pine forests, and it's a hell of a bloody mess. I'm pissed off with what they've done to our fresh water, and I'm really just at the point where I might just go fishing. Oops, sorry, there's no fish to catch. Oh, well, we'll give it a try anyway, because the one thing about going fishing is the wonderful endorphins and relaxation you get from trying. And that, I think, is where we should end this at the moment, because I could just go on and on. Anyway, everybody, thank you very much. And I hope some of the things I talked about inspire you to do something about it. Bye-bye.